friend. This is a request. I'm very flattered. From Colin, yes?
Yep, you got it.
Colin.
Thanks.
This is from a book I published a couple years ago. It's called The Ballad of the Body of Wade Boggs. Wade Boggs was a baseball player for the Boston Red Sox. Third baseman, a bit of a crazy dude, a man of many superstitions, and a very unique person. And the first bit of this has absolutely nothing to do with the story. So hang in there, I beg of you. But the rest of it's a story, true story of me growing up back in high school with some knuckleheads I used to hang out with. So the Ballad of the Body of Wade Boggs. Thank you. I was in a most festive mood until my sister Teresa took me aside and said to me,
Frankie, I don't like this new girlfriend of yours. She dresses like a slut.
And I replied, she doesn't dress like a slut. She is a slut. That's just how she dresses. Now leave her alone. She has to be at work in 4 hours. And that was the worst Thanksgiving ever. Also, it was my first holiday season since becoming a vegetarian. And that's a lot of mashed potatoes with no gravy. And God save me, because I just made that whole story up. My girlfriend dresses like a tomboy, which bothered me somewhat until the day that she wore a skirt for the first time. And I was bothered even more. It didn't suit her, so I turned my head away in disappointment, and fortunately laid eyes on another woman who was also wearing a skirt. And then I wasn't disappointed anymore. Also, I'm not a vegetarian. I eat more meat than a rodeo clown, though I prefer eating chicken to beef, especially if it's a whole chicken, or maybe a half, at least a leg, and I can dismantle the carcass until with my teeth, and leave the cartilage until last, then suck every single fleshy string from the empty brown sticks. After, I arrange the bones in an order of descending size on my placemat, like some sort of prehistoric xylophone. Then I see the bloody stains on my fingers, the bits of grease beneath my fingernails, and I feel kind of guilty. Like post-masturbation depression between 1986 and 1988, before we all came out and admitted that we jerked off. It was a big relief for the three of us. It was me and Joey Sparks at Felice Dana's house, skipping school and waiting for the acid to kick in. Of course it never worked, as it was liquid acid dropped onto a piece of notebook paper 2 weeks earlier. We got it at the crack house behind the Pro Street Stadium. The crack house which burned down a few days after. And I remember overhearing a conversation between two teachers at my high school saying that it had mysteriously burned down. But there's nothing mysterious about a crack house burning down. A candy store burns down. That's mysterious. A pet store burns down. That's mysterious. A bait and tackle shop burns down. That's mysterious. A smoke shop burns down. That's mysterious and slightly amusing. A crack house is a building filled with various people addicted to crack, in possession of various lighting utensils. There is no mystery here. Back at Felice Dana's house, we were still waiting for the acid to kick in, and it never did. So we started talking about sex, which we knew absolutely nothing about. And the conversation slowly turned to masturbation, which Joey Sparks and I had discussed in great detail numerous times. Well, this was all new to Felice Dana, who was still under the impression that admitting to jerking off was akin to wanting to bang your dead grandmother. His face beamed, and he jumped around the room, slapping us on the shoulders, relieved that he was not alone anymore. We discussed various methods, various hands, various ways in which to clean up afterwards. Then, unfortunately, Felice Dana explained that his personal favorite technique was to fuck the leg of a life-size Wade Boggs doll that he had won at the Topsfield Fair a few months ago. Against us urging him not to, he ran to his room to retrieve his Wade Boggs doll. And sure enough, there was Wade Boggs in all his Red Sox glory. Hometown uniform, clean white, except for a series of yellow-brown stains that covered his groin and upper thigh. It was a beautiful sight, and we laughed so hard that we momentarily forgot that a bunch of crackheads had scammed us out of our hard-earned money. And this is the true story, not like that Thanksgiving dinner or my girlfriend dressing like a slut, but electrons and neutrons that bounce around my brain and paint a technicolor picture that no imagination can match. No imagination can match. No imagination can match. Joey Sparks and I drifted apart after high school. I went to college in town, and he took over his father's sprinkler system business. We hooked up last time I was home, but had a major row after I spilled a beer in the front seat of his brand new SUV. He got married recently, had a kid, and moved to Salem. Felice Dana was expelled from school in our senior year after mooning an English teacher. At first there was great debate as to whether Felice had actually committed the deed, as his big fat Italian ass was so hairy that many witnesses claimed he was actually wearing a pair of black jockey shorts. I can't remember clearly, but I think he went to summer school and received his diploma in the mail. Wade Boggs was traded to the Yankees, where he eventually won the World Series title that had eluded him during his time with the Red Sox. In the post-game locker room, he broke down and cried. As for the Wade Boggs doll itself, I assume it's stored away somewhere in Felice Dana's boyhood home, crammed uncomfortably into a cardboard box, pining for affection, waiting for spring to come around. Thank you very much.